Hello YouTubers, we are going to do some modifications to our 4-inch ratcheting bar clamp spreader. That was a mouthful. Yeah, in order to go ahead and do this, wear your safety glasses. Highly recommended, wear those safety glasses. And with that, let's go ahead and proceed. Let's go. Hello YouTubers, this is Ron, also known as Bill7974. And 4 years ago, about the same time, I went ahead and purchased some of these 4-inch ratchet clamps from Harbor Freight, and I'm sure you can get them from elsewhere. They're all basically the same. And what I did, I used them as I went ahead and put 2 of these long pieces together. I had to weld them, and I tigged it. As you can see, here's the ad in one of their magazines 4 years ago. I don't know what they're selling for now, but you know, you can find just about anywhere, I guess. And so I went ahead and formed it, like I said before in the other video, to my jigsaw. And I mixed these model paints with it, you know, if you haven't used it for a while. And I just use it as a shaker. Now, when it came to these, a little longer, this is why I made the longer piece, I found out it wasn't clamping good enough. I found part of the problem to be in this release mechanism. You could collapse it and then release it, but this didn't hold good enough. We're going to find out. You know how the ones that I bought 6 of them, there was only one that really held pretty good. All the others, you could use a paper clip, but this one here was very good. Let's figure out what's wrong with these darn things. Let's take this thing apart. There's 6 Phillips head screws. They're all the same size. They're all removed using a number 1 Phillips head screwdriver. Use a good tip, and this comes off with a slight amount. Just remove it like that. And then you have your mechanisms inside here. You have your adjustment here, and you have the release mechanism here. You have the main spring here and the release spring here. That don't look, so far so good. So if we adjust it like this, we put the squeeze on. And let's hold this back a little more. Oh, it stays put. Definitely putting the squeeze on. Now what I'm going to go ahead and do is put the paint in. And there's zero room on there. I've got the release mechanism held back by my thumb. Let's squeeze it. Oh, look at that. You cannot, it won't release. Let me release my thumb. Oh, there it is. There's your problem. It could be the spring or the release handle itself. So let's check that good one I was telling you about. We'll put our paint in, clamp it down. Oh. It's there. It still moves around a bit. But if we hold on to it, we clamp it a little bit more. Better. Let's take a look at this one inside. So this is our better one. And they both look identical. And what I've done it yesterday, and I pulled this one apart and checked the spring length against this one here, and they're the same. These are the same. The arms are the same. Why is one different than the other? So if we increase the tension on the spring, you know, that's what I was doing with my finger, my thumb, you know, going like that. I even made a piece, or cut a piece of plastic, PVC, and put it, right behind the stop there to get more tension on it. That didn't help at all. Okay, let's move on. That spring took a little effort to get out, but it's, even if you put a stiffer spring there, I think you'd still have the same problem, or you wouldn't be able to get it in. YouTubers, this is my 12-inch I've had for a couple of years. I bought 3 or 4 of them. They work real good, no problem there with this mechanism, the release mechanism, and you have your adjuster. Let's take a look inside it. Look at this. This is nuclear power. You have three blades or steel pieces here for the adjustment. You have three springs in this thing. You have this one, then you have this, and here's that return spring on the return lever, plus you have an added support there. And they found out using the bigger one, they solved their problem here and here. So that means I'm on the right track. Just using a stiffer spring. I'll show you. I got these two springs, but they are really stiff. And all we're going to do is just, wrap it around. And sometimes, even if you wrap it around, it might come unsprung. So let's go to something different. So I've had this package from Napa. They are throttle return springs. I got about 20 years ago. And these, I got two left. The other two that were in the package, they might fit, or they might work. In that pack, they gave you 5. 2 that were good, but only used 1. The spring I'm using will be the 3/8 by 1 3/4 by 9 5/8 inch long. So what I had to do is trim it, cut it, and this is what I come up with. Now this is 1 3/8 of an inch long. It used to be 1 3/4 inch long. Now the other one is a larger spring, but it's too wide, 7/16 inch OD by 2 by 9. So there's a complete throttle return spring. Go ahead and make your own. This is what I'll go ahead and use. The 3/8 by 1 3/4 by 9 5/8, which be trimmed down to 1 3/8. We'll go ahead and make our mods to the release handle here. In order to do that, got to take out that drift pin using a drift punch. And here's one that's already been removed, just slightly less than 1/8 of an inch. There's one we took it out from. No problem. I forgot to tell you, of course, that is the drift pin actually prevents this from coming off when you're normally working with it. But right now, let's go ahead and remove it. Since we're basically working with that paint mixer, we'll just go ahead and release here. Slide it off. Comes right out. And just go ahead and remove your lever here. The spring will follow. Okay, it's okay if it stays in. Well, may not end up using it anyway, so you can take it in or take it out. This is the release handle mechanism that we just took out, and what we want to go ahead and do is to drill a hole right about where my fingernail tip is using a 3/32 inch drill bit, along with another one here I done already. Here is the release mechanism for our paint mixer, and what I want to go ahead and show you is that 3/32 inch hole, and make sure you use a file to clean up the edges around there, otherwise you won't be able to get that spring, the end of the spring on. Then wrap it around a couple times. It doesn't matter which way, as long as you get that thing started on that in the hole. Just walk it around maybe a couple times. Okay, that's one side. Then you do the same thing. You can put it on now. You can do the same thing on this side. Then, excuse me, you can put it on that side there. Then you can go ahead and put your device back together again. Use the scribe to open it up, get that one of the ends through the release mechanism. And once it's around there, once I'll go ahead and release the scribe. Okay, kind of hard to do it with holding the camera and holding this darn thing at the same time, but there you go. I'll go ahead and put this thing back together. That slid in there nicely. Gotta remember to release it too. It's strong. Let's give this thing a try. Put our paint in. there you go. There you go. Tight, it's not coming out. Success. Now time to release it. There you go. Is everything attached? Works for me, like Fred Dryer would say.